tell me about the Southport. I was looking through your social medias, and tell me a bit more about the band. You guys are like an indie band, and so far the only names that I really see are your own. Tell me a bit more about the band, who's in it, and what you guys do.
Yeah, so the Southport was originally, I mean, some musicians like one band is not enough because they just have this musical diarrhea, if I could say, where like a band is not enough of a music outlet, and it wasn't enough of a music outlet for me. So I was like, I started writing my own music on the side, and I felt really weird of performing it under my name, like Damien Lindecke, because first of all, my name is complicated to say sometimes, and let's not even get into my surname. Like trying to pronounce that thing when you look at it is ridiculous. So I came up with the name The Southport. I was like, well, I'll just perform my songs under that name. It makes it easier. And yeah, and then I started doing a lot of individual shows just with backing tracks. Eventually, one of the organizers from Splashy found my stuff on SoundCloud and was like, hey, do you want to play? And I was like, I don't mind, but I don't have a band. It's just me and a backing track. And I just performed acoustically with the backing track. And yeah, they enjoyed it. And they invited me to play the next Splashy, which was this year because the 2 years were cancelled. And I said, well, look, I've got months now. Got a hold of a couple of friends and said, guys, do you want to do a band? Like, let's go to Splashy and let's have a full-on band. And we just started like that and was like, well, everyone enjoyed the music. Everyone was digging the vibe, and we all good mates. So we're having a good time at band practice. And yeah, now the Southport is actually a band. We have band members, so it's no longer my own thing. So I think that's why the earlier Southport stuff, you'll see it's just my name. It's because I was performing individually before the band sort of came about now. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you're just performing as a solo artist under a pseudonym, essentially.
100%. Yeah, that was the vibe.
That's cool though. But like to get picked up and noticed, like, hey, come play Splashy. Having a band form out of that, that's sick. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, it was really cool, and I was a little bit worried at first. I mean, because I was recording all the stuff by myself at home with my little home studio. I was playing guitar, playing bass, playing synths, laying down drum tracks. It was like became a bit of a mission. And I thought, with a band, everyone has different musical or band influences, right? So these guys are probably going to add probably a lot more character and dynamic to the music that's already written just based on their personal interests and genres that they like. And that's exactly what has happened. A lot of the stuff that I recorded, earlier stuff, is now, since we've been band practicing in a band, a lot of like much better like licks or harmonies and stuff have come up. And it's just like, you just don't get that band dynamic as an individual artist. And it's so nice to have a band. And I mean, to be picked up off, yeah, it was quite weird. Stoked though.
I can only imagine. Who's responsible for the super catchy guitar riffs?
Oh, really? Thanks, man. Yeah, I think it's I write all the music. I've written all the music up until now. We've just recently started. We've got 3 songs that we're working on now, which has been written as a band, so which hasn't been released or performed live yet. So all the stuff now which people are listening to or can get onto now is all I've just written at home by myself and just taken a lot of influences from bands that I've listened to and that I enjoy. Yeah, if that answers the question. I guess I'm responsible. Humble brag.
Oh, that's sick though. Like I found it just to be such a bop. Like I enjoyed them so much. As a guitarist myself, I was like, that's tasty. That's really cool.
Oh, flip, dude. Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah, no, that was so sick. Who else is now in the band with you? Who else has joined you, and what are their sort of their traits with music in general? So who does what in the band?
All right. So I play drums for another band called Vector Field. And the members of that band have basically, those were the mates that I used. So I got one of my good friends, Daniel. He's on drums, great drummer. He's been in so many different Durban bands. So he's a good drummer to have around. He's very good technically too, because I mean, for me to figure out what an input and an output is, where it still boggles my mind. I just don't get it. But so he's good technically. So he's Daniel. Then on keys, we have Simon. He is a keyboard player. So he's responsible for synths and keys. Tanner, also a good mate of mine. He plays bass. He's he's the ginger ninja in the band. It's a cool guy. And I'd say the newest member would be Brett. He's our lead guitarist. He's taken on lead, and he just fitted in so perfectly. Daniel the one day messaged me, and he was just like, or sorry, not message. We're just having a conversation at his place. He's like, I got this guy. His name's Brett. He's really like his guitaring and his melodies and the way he writes is very similar to you. I think we should like hook up and see what he can bring to the table. And it's just been flawless and such a nice transition, and it's very refreshing to get another person in the band who listens to the same music and same style. I mean, I've tried I've tried the Southport with other guys before, and they just didn't dig the vibe. And unfortunately, what can you do? So us as a group now, Simon, Daniel, Tanner, Brett, myself, yeah, that's the band, and that's what they are responsible for.
That's sick. Like, and then I know of Vector Field as well, and the sound of Vector Field is very different to the Southport. So you weren't joking when you said you had different musical outlets that you wanted to pursue. There's obviously a very different sound that you wanted to do, and I can respect that. And like the two very different sounds. What sort of are your inspirations as an artist that made you sort of branch out in so many different directions?
Well, I've always been, I think from my earlier days, sort of, I'd say grade 7, I was just such a Backstreet Boy fan. Oh my goodness. Like, I just wanted to be like Nick Carter. He was just my guy. Like, I was like, this is who I want to be. So I had a lot of pop influences, that I found myself. I discovered Backstreet Boys myself. I grew up with super old school music, your classics like your Dire Straits, Phil Collins, a lot of Fleetwood Mac. Oh my gosh, I still listen to a crap load of them. So those were like the base and the foundation. And then the pop side was my primary school years. And then I discovered Blink. And that just changed everything for me. I think, I think we all still listen to Blink today. And
I was actually going to ask if you were a Blink fan by any chance, because I definitely picked that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd have to say more Tom DeLonge fan than a Blink fan, because even his Angels and Airwaves project, which he did, just influenced my music in such a big way, with bringing in synth sounds and using synths as leads as opposed to guitar leads, and creating like an atmospheric sort of sound. So that for me, and also the Killers too, that just was what I was.
That's where the groove and the catchy riffs come from. So the earworms.
Yeah, exactly. Just even if it's a repetitive chorus, if that chorus is catchy and has those sweet chords that hit your ear in that right way, it can be very effective and get stuck in people's heads. And I thought that's always the goal. I just want to write not complicated music, but I just want it to be pretty and catchy. And Tom DeLonge does that so well. And I thought, this guy's my influence, like indirectly and directly. He's just been such a big part of my music.
It's so funny that you say that though, because I was listening to your music, and I played a bit of it to my fiance, and I was like, it sounds like Tom DeLonge. And her question to me was,
yeah,
who's Tom DeLonge? And I had to like explain to her the history of Blink-182. And it's so funny that you're just breaking down.
Yes.
That was
yeah, you weren't wrong. You were right on the money there.
Oh, that's so, like, even myself, Blink-182, Sum 41, that era of bands also, I grew up with that. And I don't find many guys in bands, in like rock and roll bands or even indie bands for that matter, who just so proudly claim, I'm a fan of pop music. Like, I found that to be quite, because let's be honest, like, we all, despite what people want to say, even the most hardcore fans, there's definitely pop music out there. It's engineered to be enjoyed. Like, it's nice to hear someone say, I dig this. I really do. And this is a driving force behind my music.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to. I think you sort of get to a point where it's like, it's. I'm not gonna say I like. I'm not gonna say I wasn't influenced by Backstreet Boys pop or anything like that. Like I'm at that stage where I don't even care. Like I'm just gonna own and be like, you know what, I was. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be writing some of the music I'm writing. Unfortunately, that's the truth. I mean, what I couldn't in hindsight. I mean, hindsight's always 2020 vision. You know what I mean? So looking back, I'm like, yeah, like, that was a good thing. I mean, if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have come up with this song or this melody or, just so. Yeah, pop is out there, and if you don't have to love all of it, don't like get all hardcore. I'm a full on pop fan, and I don't listen to anything else. Just if you're a music writer and you listen to enough music and what is working and what makes a song work, you got to grab those elements, whether it be from pop, whether it be from hardcore, whether it be from punk, whatever the genre, R&B, rap. You grab certain things, little elements, and you can make something, and that's what's so beautiful with music. And I thought, let's not shy away. Let's write catchy pop punk song. Let's write a radio friendly song. If it hits you and you're feeling good and we're jamming and everyone's like, do it. That's what it's about. It's about that feeling that music gives you, and you can't run away from what influenced you, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess it's cool to own up to it sometimes. You just have to.
Definitely. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tim Henson from Polyphia.
No, I don't. I don't know that.
So he's lauded as one of like the like premier guitarists of our generation. Like he's one of like the next virtuosos kind of deal. And he's young. He's about 27. He's about 28. And I was watching a video of him breaking down how he writes music. And a lot of what he does is so unexpected. Is he takes the flow of rappers and converts that into like a rhythmic, like on guitar. So he takes those rhythmic elements, converts them to guitar riffs, and that's how he writes most of his music. And most of these guys who are fans of his music would never claim to be fans of the music that he uses as an inspiration, which I found so interesting.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's amazing. That how you don't like the rapper's flow or style, but as soon as I put it onto a guitar riff, now you like it. What's up? Wow, bro. Yes, that's crazy. I must actually check that out, dude. You need to send me that name and that. I'm always keen for some new stuff, really.
Tim Henson will make you want to quit guitar. He's just one of those.
Oh, no, he's one of those.
He's one of those. He's one of those guys, dude. You just look at it like, oh yeah, nah, fuck it, I'm done with this.
It's like you just watch Travis Barker play like a simple drum beat or something, does a full, and you're like, I'm not playing drums anymore. Why must I play if I'm never gonna? What? No, never mind. I know what you mean, dude.
There's so many artists out there who you look at and you're just like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Make it fair, bro. Make it fair. Yeah, dude. No, but and I think the Southport is influenced a lot by we all listen to different stuff, and it comes through in our writing and in the way we put through ideas and suggestions, like bass lines or things, and it shows. And it's just weird how it can mix and work sometimes, and yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, I can definitely hear that in your music. I can definitely hear how everything's tight, everything has its place, everything is well composed, and thoroughly enjoy that. And you guys do all of this yourself. If I've understood like bits of what you've said, you guys you don't go to a professional studio. You guys do this at home. Is that correct?
Yeah. So all the Southport stuff I recorded by myself in my room. Vocals I did in a cupboard, took all my clothes out, locked myself, closed the cupboard doors, and laid down vocals. That's how I did it. I just learned a recording program which I worked on for a few years before I started actually taking it seriously and thinking I need to buy like a little interface, like a 2-channel, so I can record my stuff. And then I had enough practice on the recording program, learned how to mix and master by watching a whole crap load of YouTube videos, as everyone does these days when you need to learn anything. And just did it all in my room. And the newest stuff now that's coming that we're starting is all like, it's going to be band input, like the members of the bands are now going to be playing those parts. I'm not going to be playing any parts. It's going to be their style, their taste, their feel. And I think, that's what's up and coming this month and next month. And I'm excited to see the different dynamic that it brings with having other guys playing the stuff as opposed to me doing it all myself. And it's kind of takes a weight off your shoulders too.
I'm so stoked to hear that. And I gotta say, I'm so impressed, like just with the quality of the work that you put out. Like it was, yeah, like it was really good. Like it sounded good. I was listening to it through the studio, like have a set of studio monitors, so I got to listen to it quite nicely. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, bro, that means so much. Thank you. Wow. Yo, bro, I'm like blushing a little bit. I've never had people telling me this stuff before. Oh my gosh.
I'm the ultimate fanboy of the music in South Africa in general. So it's just one of those things.
Oh, dude, you are a rare bunch. I promise you. Oh, it's amazing to hear that, dude. Thanks so much.
Oh man, that's really no stress. Now you hinted like at your plans for the upcoming months. Are you looking at releasing, you said there's 3 songs that you guys have. Are you planning on releasing them in these upcoming months, or are there other things that you're doing in these upcoming months?
So what we're gonna do is the plan for the next month, I'd say May, and till we have a date till mid-June, where we want to, the songs that we have now plus another 2, we'll release an EP. We'll release like a 7-song EP, put it out on because I mean I only have the music's only out on SoundCloud really and Bandcamp, which is very limited. So once we have these additional songs plus the ones that have already been recorded, we're going to put on the EP, just get it out onto all the music platforms like your Spotify, our music, all of that. See what traction we get there, and then we're in the process. We're just finishing up a music video, and we'll have 2 music videos out and the EP out on all the major sort of streaming platforms. So that is our plan till mid-June. And from mid-June, we're just going to gig as much as we can. I see a bit of the COVID regulations have been lifted. We've already played 3 shows since it's been lifted. So it's exciting. We just want to get the EP and the 2 videos out, put it out there. This is who we are. We are official band now. It's not one guy doing everything on his own. And we're going to play shows and just entertain people, see if we get a couple of tours in. So hopefully by the end of the year, we want to be a little bit more established and a bit more rock solid within the South African scene. We've received a lot of positive feedback from the music wise, so we know it's not terrible. You know what I'm saying? And so that is the plan. That is the plan so far, short term. Yes.
No, I'm stoked to hear it. I can't wait. What sort of process are you following on like getting your songs onto like the various different platforms? A lot of artists look at that and it's such a daunting task. You don't know who to approach, you don't know what to do. What's sort of your take from your experience? What would you say, in your opinion, is one of the best ways to get your music out there?
Well, I think for right now, with the way technology is, it's actually really easy to get onto these platforms. I was also very intimidated in the beginning by like, how do you get it on Spotify? How do you get it on our music? Like, how do you do this? And Daniel, as I was mentioning, the very technical guy in the band, he's so clued up. We got onto this site called DistroKid, so short for distribution, so DistroKid. And what you do is there's a monthly or a yearly subscription, and it's not even a lot, man. I can't remember what it is, but it's peanuts. And what you do is, depending what package you buy, you can put it on there, write what the title of the EP is, put your graphic on, and they automatically distribute it to those streaming platforms. So if you pay for a higher package, you get to set release dates. If you go for the more cheaper packages, they're just sort of going to put it out there, and it's, you don't really know what the algorithms are going to do with it. So so that's our approach. What we're going to do, we're going to go into DistroKid, pay for a bit of a decent package so that we can say this is a release date. We can get a whole lot of marketing material, really build up that release date for the EP, and then they will automatically release it on the day and time that we specify. And then, it's simple. People just go onto our music and your stuff will be there. And it's really easy, and it's not that daunting as people think. You just you have to search, bro. But that's our plan.
I think DistroKid is definitely becoming one of the staples, like in the music scene in general. Just it's one of the easiest ways, like a lot, to just get your music out there. And so many guys that I know and have spoken to, that's exactly the same route that they've gone through. And like you said, just it is so much easier these days. You just need to look into the right stuff.
You have to, and you have to do it right. There's a way to do these things, and we think we've just been learning the hard way. You can't just put a post out whenever and say a couple of words in a caption. It's very strategic. There's certain hashtags you got to use. There's certain words at different times you got to test. Which post got the most views, what time did you post it, when are the best times. That's a whole other thing on its own. And I think that's what some of these big bands they're lucky enough to have these marketers and distributors who do all this stuff. I mean, if you're just coming up as a musician, writing your own songs, recording your own stuff, just putting it on SoundCloud, you don't really know the ins and outs. But the more you do it, and the more if you have that ambition and that drive to get your stuff out there, you will find the correct ways to do it. And you will see the more you do it, there's a certain method to it. So I'm glad people are knowing about DistroKid. It's how Vectorfield stuff got onto the music streaming platforms. So we're just going to use them, and we're just going to put it out there, and at least it will be out there, and we can say at shows, hey, check us out on our music. Because people ask you these things, but you can't say go to SoundCloud. It's just like, what are you, like the rock ages, bro?
Yeah, let's be honest, like your social media presence has a lot of impact on how people perceive you in terms of how successful you are, how seriously they should take you as a musician. So going to a person and being like, yeah, you can find this song on Spotify or Apple Music, they're like, holy shit, this person's serious. Whereas SoundCloud is basically a meme at this point, as unfortunate as it is, because it's one of the best platforms to just, as an artist starting out, to get your music out there. Like almost every artist who's released some form of music has used SoundCloud at some point. Like, let's be honest. But it's because of that, it's become like a meme at this point. The whole SoundCloud rapper joke, the whole...
Yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you mean, yes. Yeah, no, that stuff's done now. That's like, you got to be serious now. You got to, I mean, it even goes as deep as you got to lay out your Instagram profile a certain way, like people like look at an Instagram page, and if they're just a random bunch of photos, they're like, cool. But if you actually do them in a really cool way, I don't know if you've ever seen those guys on Instagram, they like can make one whole photo out of like 6 posts or something, the tiles on that menu.
Yeah, it always looks so sick.
You know what I'm saying? And like a simple first impression of your Insta page will be like, oh, look, okay, these are good photos, or there's a layout. That also creates some level of professionalism where people are drawn to, and like, oh, these guys are how can I say, are woke on what Instagram's about and doing. You know what I mean? So really, sometimes you got to have some of those little kids who are good with that stuff. You got to have them in your corner as well to ask questions and be like, hey, listen, what's cool right now?
It's really like a skill in its own right, though. Like managing your social medias is like a skill that you have to learn, because it is not easy. You have to keep up a certain amount of content. You have to engage with people just so that the algorithm will take you seriously. And it can be such a hit and miss sometimes. You can just try your best and just not get any traction, but it's consistency and hard work. It's almost as hard as being an artist yourself, like in its own right. It's almost harder than making music.
I'm telling you. And I mean, I don't know, I'm sure there's artists out there who are managing their own social media pages. They've definitely had a moment where they've looked at a picture that they want to post, and it's time to add the caption, and you don't know what the hell to say. You're like, what do I you like just look at the photo and you're like, you just like, this is difficult. What do I say? Like, how am I going to make this little caption impactful? How am I going to, it's a whole skill. It's a whole art on its own. And like you said, if you just put in that consistency and keep that consistency, a little bit of luck is all you need. Like, there's going to be one day where that little bit of luck, right post at the right time, man, that can open doors for you, you know. And it's as much as yes, you got to do the algorithms and do the right hashtags and get on the right platforms. That's cool, but you need that element of luck.
That's definitely true. That luck is such a big part of it.
Exactly. And if you're not consistent and you're not constantly putting yourself out there, that luck just sort of diminishes a little bit more.
You hurt your chances so much.
And
it's so funny that you say looking at a photograph and not knowing what to say, because my fiance just whenever she's trying to post something on Instagram, like for her photography, she just hands me her phone and like, yeah, type something. I'm like, what? Like I sit there and like, just because I'm a social media whore, it doesn't mean I have all the answers. Like
exactly. I'm telling you, it's intimidating sometimes, and I think like at the rate that technology and how people's attention spans are just so much shorter, to keep something that's impactful and to make something impactful that sticks with the person and they don't scroll up or don't skip your story, or that's a whole art on itself. How do you captivate these young minds who are brought up on this kind of social media technology? We never had that growing up when we first started bands. It was very old school. So now we have to try to keep up with this, and it's work. It's as hard as band practicing and learning a new song. It's social media and marketing is a whole other thing on its own. And I think if it's good, if every artist, local or not local, you got to have a bit of that skill in your arsenal, because if you lack social media and you got good music and good stuff, but you don't know how to put it out there, what are you doing? And
yeah,
that's
exactly.
In these days, what are you doing? You can't just get by on live shows anymore. You can't just get by word of mouth is limited. You got to put yourself out there, and it's a whole other skill on its own, and it's super intimidating for some people.
Like when you say that it's hard, like for context, like there are literal qualifications that revolve around this aspect. There are literal job titles whose designated job it is to run social medias. There are qualifications required to do so. Like, and then you get an artist who's not only trying to make their music, but do that same thing as well.
It's like we're quite fortunate to have, Brett and Daniel in the band, who are professional photographers and I don't know, I always say videographers or filmmakers. That's their job. They do this, and we're fortunate to have two of them in the band. And I mean, the way they push, it's almost like a every second week thing, where it's like, guys, we need to take photos, and like, but we just took photos last week. No, dude, we need more content, and they understand this. So it's like, oh my gosh, so we got to do new pictures, new things every 2 weeks just to keep up, because they're going to look at, you can't repost photos, and you can't do that anymore. You have to have new content, fresh. What is the band up to? They want to see behind the scenes. They want to experience the whole thing. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, guys, but we got 3 new songs to learn. No, dude, we can't do that now. We have to do photos and videos. And you're like, oh my gosh, this has just changed. It's a full-on business, bro. Yeah, it's full on. And you got to be, the consistency is the problem, because we all have lives. There does come times where our other jobs take over a bit of our time that we want to put aside for the band, and things get delayed. And I mean, I'd be lying if I said that it didn't bother me at all, that social media posts for the band wasn't always at the back of my mind. It always is. And it just shows how what can I say, how intimidating social media can be, that it can worry a person when they're not even doing the band. I'll be at work and I'll be thinking, oh man, should I do a post today? Okay, I'll do a post. Oh, we've already used that photo. Little things like that stress you out, and you're like, yeah, because that's social media standards. That's what's happening. I guess you could talk about it for ages, but it's just good to know, guys. Just try it out, learn the stuff, learn the marketing, learn the social media aspect, because that is where the majority of this youth and people are. This is where new music is constantly being pushed. Is on social media, on Spotify, new bands, new music every day, every week. It's just mountains of music coming through, and you need to put something unique. And now you have to find what is that uniqueness that, for example, the Southport has. What is our signature niche? What do we do? And that's what businesses do. Businesses say, what are our values? What are our core strengths? What is our image? And you got to be like, yo, you got to have a bit of business mind or something. And not everyone has that, unfortunately.
No, we don't. Artists can be very scatterbrained. And like I blame TikTok for a lot of the lack of attention. And I say this because it's affected me as well. Like my attention span has dropped horrifically because of that app, but I can't stop. But I've discovered so much new music through it as well. And yeah, like it's an app for like instant gratification. Yeah. Oh, that was 5 seconds of the most random bullshit I've ever seen, but I laughed. And you know what? I'm gonna go find more of it.
If you're down, exactly. If you're down, that's what I say to guys. Like, oh, you're on TikTok, bro. Like, yeah, I'm on TikTok. You like, guys, if you are down, 5 minutes on TikTok, I'm like, I'm good. Like, it's weird, hey. Yeah, it's really some crazy stuff out there, and you're just like, oh my gosh, how do you think of this stuff? How is this like blowing up? What is going on? Why is this viral?
Oh, I love it. It's so like just to see how humor evolves in like, because let's be honest, humor is a compression of like history a lot of the time. So there's something that is like where it's a 5-second joke, but it summarizes like 6 years worth of internet comedy. And it's usually and like if someone hasn't been on the internet, that you have to try and explain how everything is connected and why it's actually funny.
Oh, dude, exactly. It's like, oh, why are you laughing? Yeah, watch this guy. Oh, I don't get it. Oh, yeah, because you needed to watch the first one. Let me find the original for you, and then you'll get it.
It goes back 6 to 10 years, and I don't have the energy. Fuck that. Good luck. Like
100%, dude. No, I don't have. No, dude. I mean, look, I have a limit. Like before, my brain's like, not worth it, my guy.
So before we run out of time here, where can people find you on social media?
All right, so we are on Facebook. You just search the Southport. A lot of our stuff is just even Instagram. You just do @the Southport. We're very lucky to get that and not have to do any crazy underscores or numbers or anything. So it's just the Southport on Facebook. You can find our page. That's where you will see where all our shows and events are. Instagram is @the Southport. And that's where all our photos are and sort of what we're doing. That's where you can find us. And then on SoundCloud, you can search the Southport. You will also find us there, as well as Bandcamp. But if you tune into the social medias like Facebook and Instagram, we will inform you guys as soon as the EP release date, as well as the music video releases too. So yeah, just stay on those. I mean, you'll be good to go. And we'll really appreciate the support. South African music needs it.
I'm stoked to hear it, man. And usually what we do is we play out with a song from the band itself. What song would you say at this point that you have released sums up the Southport?
I'd have to say, I think at the moment, a good one would be Never Forget You.
All right, fantastic. So we're going to play out with that. Man, thank you so much for taking the time out of the wedding that you're attending to have a chat with me. I appreciate it so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Bro, of course, Marcel. This was such a jam, dude. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for making the time to chat with us.
No problem, dude. Anytime. You guys want to chat again, you know where to find me. I'm here to talk, bro.